Oh, yeah.
Yes, Marlon.
What's happening? You alright?
Turn down the music. Hey, big up to you, Marlon. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for joining me this afternoon, man.
yeah, nah, thank you, man. You've been had our back from the start. It's all appreciated. It's all appreciated.
Now, you have been doing exceptional work in our communities. I'm in awe of what you do, Marlon, seriously. But I
Nah,
believe
thanks.
this is the time now for us to all come together in
Of course
unity,
it is. Of
and
course
it's
it is.
now. There's no, there's no more time to wait. It's now.
Yeah,
In,
for sure, for sure, for sure. When now, me personally, I look and think exactly the same thing because if you look at the way that certain things have gone recently, you can see that people who are pro separation, they've been working on that for a very long time. Do you get what I mean? Certain things that have happened recently never just happened overnight. It wasn't just a knee-jerk reaction to anything. Certain people have been playing in the background for the longest time. It's like people know this, but when you don't see it, you can become complacent. You know what I mean?
no, definitely. Now, for anybody out there who doesn't know about you, Marlon, and what you do, could you just give them
Yeah.
a little brief introduction?
Marlon from Walking with Giants, based down in Croydon, but obviously we spread out over south. I'm just another guy from the ends who I said, you know what, I'm tired of hearing my own voice, tired of telling myself, I don't like what I'm seeing around. I said, I'm going to do a little something. So it just started from, people seeing a change in my attitude. Young boys saying, I want to go do this, I want to get at this man. And me saying, hold on, let me actually talk to you, innit? Like, and actually talk to you to the point you're listening. Like, let me not talk to you like an old guy who ain't got no energy left and is just saying just for the sake of saying, don't do it. Let me actually talk to you with the same energy that I would have used to make you do something when I was actually about. Do you get where I'm coming from? Like, let me talk to you like you're about to go and do something to my nephew, to my son, to one of my children. Let me actually talk sense to you. And like, let me tell the youths out there stuff that they actually don't want to hear, but they need to hear. A lot of people don't want to cross that line. A lot of people still want ratings from the little youth, so they don't want to tell the youth something that's going to hurt their feelings. Not knowing, you hurt his feelings today, you come back tomorrow, do you know what I mean? And the ones who don't, you realise you're going to have to go another way about things. But at the end of the day, I said, let me do something. And it originally started because, where I was at, Ali with the Valley, like Salam, brother, it just started where originally there was some young boys and they was beefing in the ends. And I knew the boys on both sides. So one area I grew up in was down in Selhurst. I grew up there until I was like 15 years old. And growing up there, I was like one of the only black families there. The other black families that was there, they had bought their houses. We was the only family pretty much on our road that lived in social housing. So I could still relate to people from all over because of our situation. Before we left there, a lot of other families started to get moved down as they were gentrifying Brixton and stuff like that, slowly as that was starting. And there was more of a community there. I moved over to Norwood. To me, the whole of Croydon is just the same place. Do you know what I mean? The whole of South, but especially the whole of Croydon, to me is the same place. I moved through there freely and whatnot from a young boy. So when I saw the two ends fall out, it made no sense to me because I knew the boys on both sides just as well. Summer holidays was coming and I knew that it was just going to basically turn into a madness because I was hearing things. I said, let me get involved. Let me do a little something, give these boys something else to do. And it just went from there. I didn't realize how much I was doing. Till now, I still don't think that it's not enough. So it's not much. Do you get where I'm coming from? Like, and I'm not even trying to be humble. I'm saying it's not enough because it's so small and it's only affecting a small group of the boys that are out here. Do you know what I mean? And it's
That's
because
what I mean. We need more people coming together, don't we? Because there's a lot of people out there. That's why I started the Let the Youth Live, to basically support people like yourself doing exceptional things in the community and trying to get the community on board to support and join forces so that we can all work together, because it's something that's going to take all of us, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
All of us.
And the thing about it is that, and this is something, I don't know whether people have noticed it or not, but it's not the people from the communities that are against it, It's legislation. It's going to be stuff like policies and all kinds of other stuff that are in place that are stopping people from being able to get out there and engage and do what they need to do. That's what's really happening. Like, there isn't, from the communities, like, I can go from here, I can go to Peckham, I can go to Brockley, I can go to Brixton, every different pocket in Brixton where they might be warring with each other, and in every single one of those places, there's going to be key people saying, I'm down to do something, I'm down to actually start up a little something. But there's 101 policies in place for every one of those people willing to do something that's blocking it.
Yes, and that needs to change, doesn't it?
Of course it is. And those people who changed it, at first, I couldn't really work out why, because I learned from experience, so I didn't know why. I didn't want to assume. But as I started to see that it was more of an issue of financial gaining, then I realized, you know what, some people really ain't going to want to take a back step from what is actually going to harm their pockets. Do you get where I'm coming from? Government saved billions from actually closing down certain facilities. Do you know what I mean? Or pocketing money from facilities that they pretend actually exist, even though they don't. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how many organizations, how many youth centers exist on paper. Exist on paper. But the buildings are empty. Some of the buildings don't even exist anymore. Do you know what I mean? But how many organizations exist on paper? So all of that type of stuff is why we're in the situation we're in. And this is why I've always been not anti, but I've been pro get the money yourself. Because when you start to try and apply for funding, like you're asking somebody for their children's college money, or for their new Lambo money or something, because he's already pocketed that money, he's already spent it, and we be there applying for it, trying to give it to our children. It's like they're not giving it to us; they've literally already spent it. They've spent all of that money for the next 10 years. How about that? It's already gone. They've spent it for the next 10 years. Even if they wanted to do a U-turn and give it to you, they've already gone and invested in something else. So all they've got now is excuses to how we're going to cover up where the money's gone, but the money's gone. Do you know what I mean? So it's about getting it yourself. If it's small, then get a little and try and make it stretch, but don't sit down waiting for that.
Now, I was just going to say, can you tell the viewers and listeners exactly what you do at your centre?
Walking with Giants, what we was doing when we was in the centre, we'll soon be back in there again, but we've been out for a little while. So what we did when we was there was we started with we're just on the block doing youth engagement, just being out here, have the youths together. We just kept on throwing stuff together that was cost effective, like barbecue. Sometimes we'll be barbecuing like 5 days straight. So we had barbecues.
Some sick barbecues. I saw the videos.
Oh yeah, we had so many. We had barbecues in the middle of the night in winter. Like, we was just going in because it was something that they all came out for. Everyone liked it, you know. So other people would pull up. Like, there was even boys coming from the other sides as well. They would start to feel comfortable being over it. So we just kept on throwing those together. Then as things picked up for me and I was doing all right, I was able to kind of expand a bit. So we started doing track days with the motorbikes. At first, we just had one little dirt bike, and I used to take them on the field nearby, got them some gear to wear. Sometimes they didn't have the gear. They just rode like how they see us ride. But where it was is that where we are, everybody around here, motorbikes was something that was just like, it's known to everybody, but it's really, really was a prominent thing around here. Like, there's even like 4-year-olds around there, they can ride a motorbike. Like, there's no one that doesn't. So the field being there, the field being there has always been that thing. So we've had access to go on the field and go out there, and it's something that you're always going to walk into. Like, in this area, you're always going to walk into riding motorbikes, probably illegally, just because of where you're from. So I said, let me take that. Don't want to see none of you guys end up in accidents, police chases through the summer. And on top of that, it's something you like already. So we got the dirt bike. We was on the field more days with it. Then after that, we got a couple more bikes and then started going to the track once I got a van. Now, when I got the van, there was a lot of people saying, look, Marlon, just apply. Get this, get that, apply for a van. I said, apply to who? I said, look, if I was to apply for a van, I would still be here 3 years later waiting for them to give me just one dusty transfer.
You know
van.
that,
So get up and do it yourself. Yeah, so I think at the time, I sold a few things. I think I sold a car that I had, sold something else, and then went and got the van. It's just a matter of, and it's like I said, it's not because I'm anyone special. It's just how much does it mean to you? It just meant that much. Do you know what I mean? For me, it was that important to me that I just paid for it myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's all it was. So I said, that and cool, got a van, and then that was it. Like, we didn't realize it just opened up the world to us, because after that, it was like, They just calling me, throw the vans in, throw the bikes in the van, go to the track. The funny thing was is I've never seen these kids get up this early before. Like later on, I'll post one of the videos of them just crashed out sleeping, because that's what they used to do a lot when we was up there as well. So what they used to do was the morning we were supposed to go van, I'm sorry, to go track. I remember I was laying down and I said to myself, do you know what? I hope these kids ain't awake, you know. We can go a bit later because I've had a late night and I'm messed up. I ain't even got the bikes in the van from like 8:30 in the morning. Little, it was Joel, little JJ. He was the cameraman for a lot of the stuff that's on there. Little kid, like 15 years old or 14 at the time. He was phoning me from like 8:30 in the morning. Like, is everybody up? Is everybody? They were all phoning each other. Like, they didn't go to sleep. So came out. It was winter as well. It was winter and it was raining as well. Went to the track and then we just kept on going. But at the same time, we was blessed with the building becoming available, because what it was is that wasn't sustainable. It's like 35 quid for every bike that goes to the track. We bought like 5 bikes there. Then it's like £5 a head per person using the bike, petrol. It started to rack up. Do you know what I mean? It's not sustainable by yourself. So, and I give it to certain man from the ends as well, who turned around and was like, look, I see what you're doing. Take that. I can't come to the track with you, I'm busy, I've got work, but please take that, even if it's for petrol, let me, you know what I mean? So a lot of people was helping out where they could. And then after that, the building became available. And like I said, that come at the right time, because with the building, it doesn't cost anything to sit down and chill out for the day. Do you know what I mean? So for instance, that made it sustainable. So we got a TV in there, got the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi was the biggest thing. You know, these kids, if there's Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi is life. If there's Wi-Fi, but yeah, we tried to get them not to be on it so much, but as long as they was there, I was like, if I can see you, then that's a step forward. And then after that, it was we just built on it from there. Obviously, with the building, that came with its own issues anyway, where they wanted us out of the building, even though the building was derelict for like 4 years and that.
That was a liberty, all of that.
Yeah, for sure. J Rambo, big up yourself, my brother. Yeah. That was a liberty, but that's something that, I'll be honest with you, that's not my personality to let something like that lie. It's not in my vision to let something like that lie. So that building's our building. Do you know what I mean? That building belongs to the youths, it belongs to the community, and there's no way you can go back on that. Do you get where I'm coming from? They already committed bare times and said that it's gonna get opened up, but what they do is just delay. Because like I said, when you become when you get a habit of taking funding, and this is the dangerous thing about funding, they know how to block you, they know how to stifle you, they know how to just end what you're doing. Because this is what they did. Once they didn't give me funding one time, someone applied for funding who was around me. I said, just leave it. But you know where I didn't want the morale to drop of the people who was working with me. And I realized it would if they felt like funding wasn't going to come. So I said, go ahead with it then. Go through with it. They didn't give us the funding, which I knew was going to happen anyway. And then they came back, and I was waiting for the last part. They came and they said, well, obviously you can't go through with the building because I heard you didn't get funding. So I said, you're telling me I didn't get the funding. I haven't even heard that yet. So clearly you're all talking to each other. But all of that aside, it's all planned. But all of that aside, I said, it's all right. I'll still get the money. Tell me what the running costs is, what you estimate them to be. And I'll make sure that the money's there. I'll even have it there in advance. They said, you're not allowed to do it like that. So he said, no one's allowed to basically self-fund. They said, yeah, you are. I said, so what is this then? It's games. Do you know what I mean? It's a cycle.
That is,
games, isn't it? Games. Of course it is. And it's a dangerous game. It's a game that costs lives. It's a game that ruins lives. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a dangerous game. It's a horrible, nasty, dangerous game. So that's what I do. Community engagement. Outside of the building, you know me, I'd just be about in it. Like I'm just that nosy uncle that just butts into everything. And if I hear that the man them are down the road, I want to know what they're doing down there. I'll hop on my bike, I'll ride down there. I want to turn up and see, and you know, with them they see me coming. So, no, him again. You know, like, so that's me in it. Like, I'll be involved in it. I'll be about, and I just stay around. That's my thing. If I can help you get to college, my main thing is I try and look at a young boy and see what it is that they've got. You know, everybody's got something, and I think I've been blessed to have been able to identify that in other people. So when I see something that someone's got, I'll try and take that strength and push it forward. And if it's something that's out of my knowledge area, I will still turn around and say, let me find somebody. Like, for instance, with JJ, when he started with doing the camera stuff and that, we found Ernest Simmons, and he's a busy man, but he's a local photographer. So we stayed on him, and he came down. And he came down to put a course together for the young boys to do photography and that. There's a lot of people came through that building. There was even down to Mac from Whitestone. So so many people would hit me up, was willing to come through and do so much, that I was like, how's that going to go to waste? Do you know what I mean? If I told the council to put something like that together, they would have probably estimated it at millions before they could put that together. I'm saying, we're going to do it for free. For free. This is where they actually showed themselves. Because I'm saying, why would you turn down something that's tried, tested, and free?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And this is what I say, it's a dirty, dirty game. Dirty game.
There's a lot that goes on, isn't there, behind scenes? And I know you know a lot about that. Definitely.
Yeah.
It's wrong. And like you're saying, it's playing with lives.
Of course it is. Of course it
Too
is.
many have been lost already.
Exactly.
It's already enough is enough.
Yeah.
And it's all about solutions now. It's for us
Definitely.
to And I was going to say as well, you were also, weren't you teaching the kids as well to repair the bikes?
Yeah. That was another thing as well. It was, that all just happened organically, because when we used to go to the track, on one of our track days, one of the bikes broke. We needed to fix it, and because obviously we was working on the bikes where we was as well, as I was there getting down and doing something to it. I think before that though, first time I took the bike out, at the bottom of my page you can see where we was putting a new brake pads in there and putting a new set of wheels on there, and the kids just got involved. They were like, oh, but I could see them edging. They were like, can I pass you the spanner? Where is it? Like, they wanted to be in there doing what I was doing. It looked interesting. So I was looking and thinking, I didn't even think you'd be interested in this. I thought you just wanted to ride the bike. So one of them would come and get involved, the other one would get involved, and then it was like, it's almost like they were prepared that the next time the bike broke, everybody was just running in there, like, to say, let me get involved. It was one of the things they liked doing. They liked it. Some of them wasn't too for that, but some of them was like, yeah, I really want to work on the bikes. There's a few of them that was like, that's what they wanted to do, was motorcycle mechanics. I looked at them and I thought, yeah, that was great. I looked at them and I thought, amongst you, some of you probably might not end up doing motorcycle mechanics. You might do something else. But now, because you've learned that you can do something, do you know what I mean? And as time goes on, you're going to start to realize you can do anything you put your mind to. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was teaching them. So we started actually, I said, you know what? As we're here, let me actually make the most of this opportunity. So I started teaching them what the carburetor was, the different components, the workings of a motorcycle, how it works, different types of engines, 2-strokes and 4-strokes. And what happened was their riding got better, because they understood to respect the machine they're on, rather than revving it out. You'll just break it. But then what it was is, some of them actually realized there is a career path in. I said, a motorcycle mechanic, standardly, you're going to get between 55 to 70 pounds an hour. That's serious money. Like I said to you, listen, I said, like, forget about
that's skills, like, right there.
Forget about who you see out here getting money. That's serious money. Do you get where I'm coming from? If you're working 10 hours a day, that's some serious money. So I said to them, look, like, this is what you can do. So I actually made the link with Bromley College at the time, because that's where I'd gone and done part of my motorcycle mechanics myself. So
I wondered, I wondered how you kind of got into it as well. So you went college?
Yeah. I always wanted to go to college, and I didn't. I ended up going to jail back and forth. And then years on years later, I found myself at like 30 odd years old in college with a bunch of little kids learning how to fix motorbikes. Yeah. I thought I was gonna
college is good fun though.
Yeah, I did. It was funny because they went to school with my son, a lot of them as well. So it was embarrassing for him, but it was funny as well though, Carl. We all got along. So, but with that, it was that's what I did anyway. I went back to college, and it was crazy because what happened off the back of that was I'll be open about it, was that the police had tried to set me up earlier that year. And it was by, in America, they've got laws like called them when a toe is the whole body sweeps down. That's 100%. Do you know, like in America, they've got laws of entrapment and stuff like that.
Yes,
In the UK, they don't really have that. So you've got people here that are actually, yes, Aisha, yeah, your son was there. He was there, he was one of my brethren. He made me feel like I wasn't some random old man still.
Oh, big up
Nah,
Aisha as well, because she does
he's a good
amazing
youth,
work.
man. You raised him well. Be proud, man. He was a good youth. But these times, we was there, and it was like, what happened was, is there's career informers out here, and this is one of the worst things that people don't tell you. There's career police informers out here. So some of the things that happen in the black community, and people will turn around and say, but look how they did this, look how they do that. Always remember this. 70% of them, at least, those people you see out there doing some of the craziest things, like selling drugs everywhere, boxing up women in public, a lot of these guys are police informers, and this is why they act with such impunity. This is a fact. This is why they act like I can do whatever I like, because they know that they've actually got a pass. This is why they move like that. And you think about it, the mind working of someone who knows that they're doing crime is to be careful. These dons who ain't careful at all. Not talking about someone who's in a blind rage, but someone who day to day does everything out in the open. A lot of these dons are police informers. This is facts. This is stuff I know personally. So the problem is that when you get police informers that are actually career police informers, they're not just telling someone about, telling the police what happened to get myself out of trouble. They're not in trouble. They're working for a wage. So they're actually out there looking for trouble. You know, like traffic wardens. Like how they actually
where they get the bonus, isn't it? Yeah.
All right. And then you get to the stage, which is even worse, where you'll actually get people who are trying to actually create a crime. So I know fully well that, you know what, things have dried up for me. I'm not going to be able to actually bring the feds no information. Now I need to go and try and pull somebody in. Now I need to encourage someone into doing something they wasn't even going to do in the first place. Like, there was a big set of raids in South Norwood from a dirty
There was a lot,
officer.
wasn't there? Yeah.
Yeah, he was a dirty policeman. He came down here and he entrapped loads of people. He was asking for drugs from people who don't sell drugs, who are just basically on their ass, who haven't got no money.
Oh my God.
And you asked them to go on. They were asked, you was in the hood asking people to get MDMA. That's not something, no one takes that here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This isn't a squat party scene. That this is the ends. It's weed or it's hard drugs. Like, you're out here asking people for MDMA, for anything.
It kind of sticks out.
All right then, and the amount of money that you're asking for, the amount of money you're offering, someone's gonna go find it. If I'm sitting here, my universal credit ain't come through an XYZ, we're struggling here, and it's winter maybe and we're cold, and you're saying, look, if you get me this, I get it for 3 times the price. I'm gonna go in my phone book and see who wants to give it to you. You ain't talking about killing someone. You're talking about getting you party drugs. Some people will take their desperation, will lead them in that direction. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
And he fed on that. That policeman fed on that. So what he done was he came here and then they turned around and they raided the whole place. But that was an example of basically saying that there is no, I'll say no more family bullies. This is the thing here, is that they took that and this is what they ran with. So my thing was, back to what I was saying, is that year, someone had tried that with me. They'd asked me to come on a move with them. I said, bro, I've been out of the game for so long. Why would you want me to come with you? I'm a liability. I'm probably going to make the wrong move. I get us all caught. You know, like, why would you ask me of all people? It makes no sense. Do you get where I'm coming from? Like, it makes no sense. And it was like, no, come. I'm like, no, why would I come for it? It doesn't make sense. And I could already see the signs. And I turned around and I said to someone close to me, I said, look, I'm telling you now that these people are trying to trip me up. Because the reason why I'm telling you this is that if I get arrested for something else which is just random and pointless, just know it's all part of the same thing. Do you get where I'm coming from? So what had happened, and I said to them, and watch what you're doing as well and who's around you. Don't be around anybody strange nowadays, anybody new. Don't be around nobody new, because it looks like they're just coming for everybody for no reason. What happened was with that is that it just went on for a little period of time. Until they gave them some fake money. The police gave them some fake money. It was real money, but obviously gave them the money to pretend that, Marlon, you missed out. We done the move. You missed out. We got big money and that. You know, I speak openly to teach people. It's like, we got the money, 50K. Like, so I was like, bro, you really got the money? They was like, yeah, we got the money. I was like, okay, don't worry about it. And they were like, but another one's coming up. Yeah. So I was like, okay. So I waited until the person who I wanted to see what was going on was around. And I said, okay, so how did it go down? They said that they're taking some money that was in transit from someone who's a business owner, X, Y, and Z. When they showed me some of the money, it was all brand new £50 notes. Every serial number was, was all together, So if
okay, like it's come from,
the other one's 24556. And I was like, what? If I've been selling cars, buying and selling cars, like, how did I manage to accumulate 50K's worth of brand new £50 notes?
Yeah,
it was all just so stupid. It was unbelievable. But I was at a point where I was like, look, I'm not dealing with you, the informant, because my old self would have been like, beat up the snitch. She's like, no, don't beat up the snitch. Like, just understand that the police are behind it. They'll bring somebody else in after him as well, innit? But the problem is that when that happened, I just said, you know what? I'm so out. It's unbelievable, because I know people that he associates with, that team associates with, that ain't in prison right now, yeah. And I'm saying, so how come they didn't bring you to prison? Like, what are you up to? It just made me look at everybody different, even though I was already
I'm not surprised.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I just made me stay out. So I just said, you know what? Fully retired now, like, if I'd retired before, now I've been made redundant, like, it's just over now. So I sat there for a while, and I had some bikes around, just my own personal bikes, and I was messing about with them and whatnot. And I just said, I might as well just go to college. Like, this ain't a joke. Like, I might as well just, what am I going to do? Like, I didn't know I was still going to be on the road, still be out there, still be healthy, still be alive at this point. So now I'm here. What am I going to do with myself? And I've been away. I've been in prison for a long time, back and forth, where I should have spent that time doing this. I'm actually going to have to do it again. And this is definitely like an eye-opener for me. So that's where I went with the college thing. I've done that.
And big up to you for that as well, because it's not easy going back to college, and because I've done all that myself. So respect for that as well, and everything that you're doing. Like, oh man.
Favor, bro.
Just want to big up everybody up on the live as well. Should we read through a few comments, Marlon?
Yeah, everybody loved the way
we
back.
Got? Oh, it's kicking off down.
Hang on.
Hey, right, who have we got? Big up to everyone. What does it say? Have we got? I think we got a shoplifter down in my Tesco's downstairs. It sounds like it's kicking off.
I thought you meant he was in the live.
Oh no, he's out there. I think they've collared him. Right, Pretty Brown Eyes. She's saying about the wrong people got the funding, but that seems to be the case everywhere.
Yeah, of course it is. It's the wrong people to us, but it's the right people to them, But yeah, that happens all the time.
Yeah, because
it's people not really what you're doing, is who you know.
Yeah, it is that, isn't it? And like I said, there's a lot of exceptional people out there doing incredible things, like yourself, out of their own pocket. Out there saving lives. Yeah, it's really amazing. They are, and that's including yourself.
Way beyond anything I've ever done. There's some people out there that do a lot of stuff and don't even talk about it. They just get on with it.
Bennett saying economics are a big factor in what needs change.
Definitely.
Definitely. Everybody loves late nights. My brother walking it, not just talking it. Yes, 1,000%, Marlon. You are a real one. Certainly a real one. And like I said, you're out there looking out for our children. Doing incredible work. We've got community needs more brothers like you, bro. Really out here for the youth. You truly are, Marlon. You truly are. Yeah. And then Phoenix Official, she's saying, they're saying, I spoke about this on BBC News when they started purposely shutting down youth clubs.
Yes, 100%. 100%. Thank you. I probably wasn't watching the news, but 100%. And this is the thing. You spoke about it, Phoenix Official, on the news, and no one still didn't go back on it. You know how, this is why I say, the money's already spent. Because if you close down a couple youth clubs and then you see people start to die, you start to see the effects of it all, that there's poor socialization amongst young people and so on, then what you start to understand is, you realize, hold on, well then wouldn't you stop there and then and say, hold on, this was a bad idea?
Yeah.
Like, even if we can't reopen them straight away, at the least we're gonna stop closing them down. They didn't do that. Salute to you too, my brother, Mr. Clapton. Like, you wouldn't, you wouldn't continue to close them down. Yeah, they do know what they're doing. They do know what they're doing. It was a planned thing, and this is part of the pipeline to prison. Because one thing I'll say here, and I hope people can take with them as well, and make it part of the consistent part of the conversation, is that prisons buy people. They buy people from other prisons, and they buy people from schools. They buy us. Do you know what I mean? It's a business. It's literally a business. So if I'm going to buy a prison from the country, from the government, if I'm going to buy a prison, if I'm going to invest in a prison, I also need prisoners. Do you get where I'm coming from? You can't just sit back and wait and hope that we catch all the criminals. You also have to create criminals, because naturally, inside of us as people, naturally, this is why we look when we cross the street. Once we understand what traffic is, naturally we try to preserve ourselves. So, and I know this from watching young boys. If you offer a young boy £1,000 or say £500 to go to country to go and work and do what they call county lines, if you offer him £500 for the week to go up there and take all of those risks, or you offer him £100 a week to stay down here and do some odd jobs, he's gonna stay down here for the £100. It's safe money. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's safe money. Like, he'll take quite a bit of persuading to go up there. So my thing is, how do you persuade a young boy like that? They get persuaded in the music, they get persuaded in the culture, because everybody's whipping, everybody's trapping, and they ain't in jail yet. Do you get where I'm coming from? You're just seeing the profits of it. Yeah. So they get encouraged to do those things. So when it comes to prisoners, you need to create a climate, you need to create a culture, you need to create an environment which breeds prisoners in order to sell prisons. Do you get where I'm coming from? And this is what you're getting, the high exclusion rates and all of these things. How can we sit down in so many meetings and talk about high exclusion rates, but nothing's been done about it?
It's true.
Nothing's been done to change it. Yeah. Nothing's been done to change it.
And how do we get that change, Marlon? What can we be doing to do something about that?
At the moment, there is nothing, because and it sounds bad, but at the moment, when you talk to the people who talk to the schools and you say to them, go into the schools and tell them, they say we can't tell them, especially academies. This is why I talk about it a lot. When it comes to academies, they don't answer to nobody. So you can ask them about individual cases, but the policies and the way they do things and the way they shuffle children around from the out of education units and stuff, which they still kind of co-own and make more money from than the child being inside of their school, what happens is you can't tell them about it. So that being the case is, take your children out of there and homeschool them, or try and find your own alternative education until they fix it. Until they fix it, don't make your child subject to it. Some children will be able to cut through and not get drawn into certain things. That's good. The ones who can't, once you see them struggling, take them out of the situation. Take them out of the situation. That's exactly what you have to do. I had my son out of school for 4 whole years. I had my son out of school from when he came to live with me. For 4 whole years, he was out of school, from secondary school. And all this stuff, people believe that you'll be fined, you'll get taken to court, you'll go to prison. You don't. No. When you've got legitimate reason for taking your child out of school, nobody can do nothing about it. They told me they were going to do this and they were going to do that. And I said, okay, well, have you sorted out the issues in the school? No. You want my son to sign up to this gang member program, and that you've already stated he's not in a gang. But you just need to put certain amounts of boys on it. So you need to put them on it to show you're doing something. Yeah. I said, how does that make sense? You're going to make him feel like he's in it. Just nonsense, isn't it? So for now, it's sad. It's sad because for now, no, there's nothing that can be done about it, because the people who are in charge of these things have chosen that this is the direction they're going to go in. Do you know what I mean? And it's just for us in the inner cities. When you go out, how can you just go out of the area to like Essex and Kent and places, and it starts to die down a bit? Not completely gone, but it starts to die down. How can it start to die down the further and further you get away from the city? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense, does it? Because what it is because the cities, what you've done is you create the prisons, and the prisons create jobs for the people outside of London. Yeah. So in the middle of nowhere, when we're getting sent to prison, that wasn't by mistake. It was to create jobs for the people of those localities. So I remember I was in prison. I was in Whitemoor. When I was in March in Whitemoor, and I was talking to the officers there, because you're literally just in the middle of nowhere. And when we was talking, they said to me, before the prison came here, there wasn't really nothing. He said, I was a mechanic. That just shut down. Loads of things shut down. Me and some of these guys who work here were friends together in the community. We all ran and got jobs in the prison as soon as it opened. Like, the prison gives you jobs as chefs, as psychologists, as, you know what I mean? It's a world of its own.
Yeah, I never really thought like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're using us to create an economy for different pockets around the country. Starbucks in many places use prison day, but of course they do. I know this for sure because we used to package some of their stuff, and we used to package dog food as well, cat food, all kinds of stuff. When we was in HMP Loudon Grange in Nottingham, we used to package fish food. Any contract they had would be there packaging it in their sweatshop. And if you didn't go to work after a certain amount of time, they'll just kick you out of the prison. That was one of the main things that they would do. It was one of them places that was had a lot of incentives. So if you didn't go to work, they'll just kick you out of the jail. And you'd go to a HMP jail, which is going to be a lot more lockup and that. But yeah, this is where we're at right now. This is where we're at right now. And I say, so this isn't about shouting and screaming. This is something that takes a lot more endurance than that. This is something where people need to get up and go out and learn things that they didn't know before.
Yeah, no,
people
exactly.
Need to get up and go out. Yeah, and that's tiring. Especially if you can't see exactly why you're doing it as well. Sometimes you can lose sight of the goal and there's obstacles in that. But that's what you've got to do. You've got to go out and learn stuff. And where someone don't want to open a door or someone don't want to create a link, you've got to go now, build the whole house and open the door yourself. Do you know what I mean? It's like that.
Yeah, and it's a case of you have to do that. You can't rely on like other people. You've got to do that yourself. Who have we got here?
Lizzie, yeah, 100%. That's right. So I need to do a YouTube channel.
Yeah, no, you do. I thought you might already have one, but no, start today.
No, I tried it before, but I ain't gonna lie. Things get so busy. I think I don't know how often I'll be able to upload. One day.
I'll give you a hand. No. I'll give you a hand, Marlon. Because I'm getting quite
I like the backdrop you got there as well. You know, it reminds me of the picture now.
I love your one. Who did yours in the house?
Guy from the area called Avon.
He's sick. He is sick.
He's good. And that's not even his best work as well. He's done some serious stuff. He done that quickly for us as well. Yeah.
And that's the one I put on our flyer today, wasn't it? The backdrop.
That's the one. Yeah.
For anybody.
Because when I saw it, I was like, yeah, I like that. I really like. Yeah.
No, this is sick. A guy called Blingware UK, Simon. I don't know if you know.
Okay.
Yeah, he did that for me a couple of years ago. So, but I love it. Absolutely love it. That's it. I do like graffiti. I wanted to do one for Let the Youth Live as well. Would be good.
Yeah, get it done.
Yeah. So, when did you realise that what you do now it's your mission? When did that actually come to you, Marlon?
I think it realised when I went flat broke and I was supposed to go back to work. And I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Do you know, like I just couldn't bring myself to do it. And I'm not lying. I said to myself, what am I doing? Like I used to wake up in the morning and go into the office, and I said, this is crazy. One day I sat on the edge of my bed and I said, no, get a grip now. Like really get a grip. Like you've got a fake office. You're not even allowed to be in there.
Yeah.
You've got no money and you've got a youth club where no one's told you that you're even supposed to have a youth club. What are you doing? Like, are you living in a make-believe world? And then I stopped and I said to myself, while I was sitting down in there and I was just rubbing my head and I said, you know what? I said, it is real. Because I wake up every day and there's youths in there. We're inside of a building. This is a youth club. The only difference is that someone hasn't stamped it. Do you get where I'm coming from? So it is real. Like my reality don't rely on somebody else in an office somewhere saying that I exist at company's house or whatever. But we got all that done anyway. But aside from that, I said, you know what? There's something that's actually driving me to do it, because at the end of the day, I'm not getting anything from it. Do you get where I'm coming from? Like, it's just part of my personality that I started to embrace. And you know what it was? I look back and I said, it's always kind of been like that. When I was in school, I always used to get in trouble for getting involved in other people's disagreements and stuff like that. You know, I'd be walking by, I'd hear something and it's like, what happened there? And I'll turn around like, hey, man, why
I was like that.
So, yeah, I just realized, you know what, it's just part of who I am in it. So it's what I'm gonna end up doing regardless. Even if I tried not to, it's what I'd be doing. And I used to be over there some days, and I won't lie, I'll be sitting there, and I could be there for half the day and thinking, what am I even doing? You ain't even here today. Do you know what I mean? And all of a sudden, the door would knock, and one of the boys would knock and say, yo, is everyone here? I say, they're not here. He said, can I come through? And I'd be like, no, I can't run it like that. Like, if there's two or more of you, then come in. Not one-to-one. Do you see what I'm saying? Not at that time anyway, because obviously, especially where it was unofficial. So I would say, look, go and get the rest of them. Yeah, I'd say, go and get the rest of them and come back. And by the time they would come back and there'll be a few of them, like, all of those doubts and everything would just be gone. You know, even just from having one or two youths about. And I said, this is why I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing. And because I lived it, because I was really in that situation, that growing up, I really lived it, especially with these fake organizations and everything. Like, when I was younger, I remember going from being in the local paper for writing an article when I was 4 years old, and doing like little bits and pieces towards the Mensa Society and that. And they were like, well, like, he don't stop thinking. This guy, he's literally, they said he's got a high IQ and whatnot. And I ain't lying, the funniest thing was, the same term, I was in the SCN school. They turned it, I was in the same term, Elmwood Primary School, put me in the SCN school and said, he's got special educational needs, he's got a hyperactive disorder.
What the hell?
He can't stop thinking, he can't stop moving. And then they said, why is he moving? What, he doesn't want to do the work? They said, no, he finishes the work, then he goes and talks to everyone else. So when they asked me why, I said, because the teacher said, when you finished your work, you can talk to each other.
Yeah.
I finished. So they said, give him some extra work. And the teacher just said, basically, we don't do that. But we're not giving him special treatment. They said, well, have you explained to him that even though he's finished his work, he needs to wait for everyone else to? They said, we shouldn't need to. I was 4 years old, and I ended up in the SCN school for that. I only stayed there for about a term and a half, but I was in there with some youths who really needed to be there.
Yeah.
They actually needed to be there. Like, these kids was literally needed to be there. And for me, that was a strange environment to be in. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah, that age as well, like.
Yeah, and the thing was, is that as I got older, I just came into contact with more and more fake organizations, just so many of them. And they're just like,
it's shocking,
parasites.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
Because I've had my eyes opened, in particularly when we attempted the nationwide campaign, Say No to Serious Youth Violence. And that I tried to kind of coordinate that. And we did get out 45 towns and cities. But there was a lot of people that came to light. Yeah. That was very shocking.
Yeah. So I saw you down there. You guys was in Brixton. I think you was in like 2 places in one day.
Yeah, I ended up doing the Brixton. But coordinated, and promoted as much as I could.
That's it.
Because kind of the vision that I had was kind of like what we've seen recently of everybody coming together. And I had the belief that everyone would come out that day, because we've all had enough and too many of our children are dying. But that didn't happen. But I'm praying now that there will be a change.
Of course. And do you know what it is? Why I really liked what you guys was coming out for was because it was all aimed in a very specific direction, where it was aimed at calling for change from the people who are actually causing the problems in a lot of the situations and not moving forward to help us change things, like, for instance, the system and whatnot. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Yes.
So people said, okay, well, somebody's been stabbed. Why don't we go and have a march? Why don't we have a march? How can you? If 2 kids get into a disagreement over, I don't know, a business deal gone wrong and someone gets stabbed, how are we going to turn up outside of one of their houses and start marching and protesting outside of every individual's house when we don't even know the specifics of the case? And what's that going to do other than provoke the family who wasn't necessarily involved? So that there is illogical. And to me, when people say stuff like that, it's pretty much the same as using the All Lives Matter to counter the Black Lives Matter. That's another crazy thing, because I didn't actually clock on to what All Lives Matter went. So I was saying like, they matter too, and All Lives Matter. I didn't realize it was actually a counter hashtag or nothing like that. But
say that, me neither. Because it sounds like all lives matter.
So someone's just chosen to just use both. So when they turn around and said, "Oh, do you know what? why don't we protest when we do something? Why are we always protesting? It's a completely different thing. It's like saying, well, why don't we rather than protesting when a police officer beats up a woman, why don't we protest outside of every person's house who's a victim of domestic violence? Because physically you can't. Like, let's be honest, if you look at how many people get stabbed each day, each year, you couldn't do that. And at the same time, that isn't the answer to stopping it. The answer is go to where the problem starts. And the problem starts in schools. The problem starts with media. The problem starts, you know what I mean? It starts with these things here. And this is what you need to tackle. But I remember when you guys put what you had put together, that was a big thing. And I think a lot of people didn't actually come out for it the way that they should have, because it just wasn't put on. It wasn't put out on the media.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, I tried my hardest, and even like getting people to share was quite hard, surprisingly. Yeah, like I said, I definitely got my eyes opened on that one. Definitely.
But at the same time, it's never nothing to get disheartened about, because you still came out. People still came out. It still went around the right people, and it brought in new people. Not like necessarily you might meet someone today, and you might not realize that that's what actually drew them to what they're doing today. But there was people that said, you know, I'm not going mad. Like, I've been sitting there thinking about doing the same thing. I thought I was going crazy.
It's
like
true.
There is actually other people doing it too. So even if they didn't step out, because it rained that day as well, innit?
Oh yeah, it was pretty bad. You came, didn't you? But you had trouble, didn't you?
I came through, but some of the young boys that was with me couldn't get out in the area, so that's what it was. But yeah, with that being the case, it's like it makes a difference. It makes a difference. Like, even if it's small numbers, the purpose is still massive. Do you know what I mean? The purpose is still massive. Like, right now, people in the UK need to understand that it was a good thing that you stood with people in another country in solidarity to what's going on there. But this is something I say to black communities and any underprivileged community in England, is that you now need to be very specific about pushing forward your cause. You know what I mean? You got to be very specific and now start to push forward your cause, because you can see it can be done. Now push forward your cause, because our thing isn't getting killed by the police. We need to start pushing forward, not in the way that they do in America, because even whilst all of the protests was going on, America was still killing people. Do you know what I mean? That's how bad it is there.
It is.
So in the UK, it's not like there. There's been some disgusting things have happened here, not on the same volume as in America. So what we need to be looking at is being very specific about what our problems are and what our needs are, and start moving forward to solve that before we get like America, because the government here and a lot of businesses here are all following Americanized models, and very soon it will be like America here. The FBI already operates in the UK. The FBI already operate in England because of all of the terrorism stuff and that they brought in before. That brought in an influx of Americanization in the way that they do things. So there's a lot of laws that are written. There's a lot of things that are written in English law which allow them to operate just like America. They just haven't enacted it. Do you get where I'm coming from? So by the time people realize that and start complaining about it, they won't realize it's been written for over 10 years. Do you know what I mean? So with England, be specific about stuff. We've got problems in our schools. We've got problems in our communities. A lot of that is due to social media, is due to a culture that has been created by brands, especially the music industry. There's no turning back from that.
Definitely.
And anyone that wants to say different is lying. Like when Conan and Krept, these are two young boys from down there, you consider them like little brothers. When these two made that song, Not to Ban Drill and that, I wasn't even mad. I just realized that was something where your record company or your PR group made you do that. They probably approached a few different artists and told them they need to do something along those lines.
You went for it.
And you went for it. Some of them, you went for it. You done it. Like whether it was that you had no choice, or whether it's that you didn't see anything wrong with it, or maybe because you're young, you actually thought in your head it made sense. But if you really check it, facts alone, you go and take a lot of the young boys that are in jail for murder right now, doing 30 odd years, you'll find most of their cases, police will raid you and they will look for the lyrics. Most of these children have done stuff and gone home and wrote about it. That has been like a major part of their evidence. Like literally, this is what has done. And those who don't actually get caught still go on to put the stuff on track and rap about it.
Yeah,
so
I've heard some discuss like Oh,
Yeah,
horrifying
yeah.
things.
Everybody's in a spliff. Like you're listening to real stuff.
Mm.
You're listening to real stuff. You're listening to real stuff that has actually happened, in it. So I'm saying,
Mm.
like Tim Westwood, like I've called him on it a few times and said, bro, like you're a big grown man now. Like you're not
Just
gonna be
gonna say
around forever.
our lives gonna cut off. Should we end it and just finish off? Come back
Oh,
and finish off. It's gonna cut me in 1:44.
man, go on, say something and finish it off, please, please. You gave me a lot of time, man.
Oh, I could go on for days with you. You're, like I said, you're just exceptional.
Thanks.
What was I going to say? Right, what basically,
Thank
what
you, Mr.
can we
Clapton.
do to support you to do more of what you do?
Follow Walking with Giants. Share it. Just take something. Just keep sharing my page, sharing Walking with Giants, because as I get more structure, that's going to be probably one of the first places that I'm going to let everybody know what we're doing moving forward. We do have a lot of things, especially in that everything that's been shut down. We've been structuring a lot of different things to move forward, way beyond anything we've done before. So to come back and actually be a lot more potent in the community. So just keep following us and just take the advice, and at the same time as well, hit us with any ideas you've got as well. And at the same time, just keep following us, keep sharing it, so that when we're ready to move, you know, you can move with us.
And I just wanted to say as well, you've got some sick video clips as well on your page of the guys that are in prison, the real life.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody check them out as well. All right. Just going to finish off. Big up yourself, Marlon. Thank you for today. Really appreciate your time. Keep up the fantastic work, and just know that I'm fully supporting everything you do. All right. And I'm with you. Big up to everybody who's locked in today. Sending you all lots of love. All right. Together we can do this. All right.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Have a blessed day. Right. We've got 6 seconds.
6 seconds. That's it, yeah?
Yeah.